What's up, conscious creators? Alex here. Are you going to click off this video because it isn't giving you this instant dopamine reward? Does this mean this video is for you? A few days ago, I thought I'd see what all the fuss was about and try a 24-hour dopamine detox because I wanted to answer once and for all, will a dopamine detox, as some people claim it will, finally put an end to this compulsive habit of sitting in your dirty underwear on the sofa whilst spooning Rice Krispies into your mouth and playing Fortnite with one hand whilst simultaneously scrolling through Facebook with the other, whilst simultaneously disappearing down Pornhub rabbit holes as you try to block out thoughts that you could instead be manifesting your hopes and dreams into reality if only you could get enough motivation, enough momentum to escape the gravitational pull of compulsively indulging in instantly gratifying pleasure until dopamine is leaking out of your ear holes. Is a dopamine detox really a magical elixir of good mental health as some people claim it to be? Will it really train my brain to do hard things so I can finally have all the sex, cars and money that I want? I'm going to be sharing what went down along my journey of 24 hours without electronics, including TV, phone, and any computers, no reading books or magazines, no coffee, no food, and even no talking, which was hard for me because I do love talking. So just a very quick announcement before we get straight into it. I'm very pleased to announce a few more spots have opened up for the free one-to-one with me to see if you'd be a good fit for the Consciousness Revolution program, where we work together overcoming blocks and manifesting your dreams. So stay with us till the end of the video for full details. But with that being said, if you've spent more than a few hours looking at personal development or success orientated videos on YouTube, you've probably by now come across this dopamine detox trend where for 24 hours people abstain from modern day pleasures and live a life of minimalism and simplicity for the day. Does that sound torture to you? I mean, why even do it? Well, instead of me trying to explain it to you, it's a lot easier if I'm lazy and I just pick up this piece of paper and read out a passage from a Harvard Medical School blog post where medical doctor Peter Grinspoon contests that it's all a load of bunk, but does a very good job of explaining the thinking behind it. So what's the thinking behind a dopamine fast? What Seppa intended with his dopamine fast was a method based on cognitive behavioural therapy by which we can become less dominated by the unhealthy stimuli, the texts, the notifications, the beeps, the rings that accompany living in a modern technology-centric society. Instead of automatically responding to these reward-inducing cues, which provide us with an immediate but short-lived charge, we ought to allow our brains to take breaks and reset from this potentially addictive bombardment. The idea is that by allowing ourselves to feel lonely or bored, or to find pleasure in doing simpler, more natural activities, we will regain control over our lives and be better able to address compulsive behaviours that may be interfering with our happiness. The 6 compulsive behaviours he cites as behaviours that may respond to a dopamine fast are emotional eating, excessive internet usage, gaming and gambling, shopping, porn and masturbation, thrill and novelty seeking, and recreational drugs. But he emphasises that dopamine fasting can be used to help control any behaviours that are causing you distress or negatively affecting your life. So it sounds all good, right? Until this article says that it's based on a fundamental misunderstanding of science, and that dopamine fasting may simply be a technique to reduce stress and engage in mindfulness-based practices. But look, doctors and scientists can be wrong, right? So I thought I'd do the tried and tested method of trying it out myself, and I wrote a little diary at a couple of points throughout the day so I could read it out loud to you on this video and you'll get an idea if it was truly life-changing or not. 1 p.m. Yes, I started this at 1 p.m. I was up very late last night and I spent most of the morning in bed. So I suppose I've kind of cheated already. Oh well, quite frankly, it was heavenly and a much needed catch up. Seeing as I reserved the whole day for this and planned nothing else, there was no rush, and it's been a long time since I had a day with no plans, which is very nice and something I should do more often. The first thing I noticed is that it's similar to fasting, except you're fasting with more things. My mind keeps going, oh, breakfast. And then I'm like, oh, no. Oh, lunch. Oh, no. Oh, snack. No, we're not doing that either. Except now it's also, oh, check my messages. No. Put on some music. No, we're not doing that either. It's a curious thing to be constantly turning down the mind's request for things, which rears its head regularly when we're so conditioned to do these things so regularly. 6 p.m. Not long got back from a visit to Lee Woods, a beautiful wooded area here in Bristol, England. When I first arrived, the parking area was almost full and I walked into the woods and there were loud people everywhere, shouting, playing children and people zooming around on bikes. No bother. But I wanted to get somewhere a bit quieter and more secluded, and it didn't take long to descend slowly and mindfully into peaceful areas of the woods and arrive at what you could describe a kind of spiritual experience. It's not hard to see why they used to believe the forest is a magical place inhabited by spirits when you really slow down enough to listen and look and actually feel it. I briefly wondered a couple of times what other people must be thinking as they marched past me, seeing as I was walking so incredibly slowly and often off the tracks and into the woodlands. I hoped that they would take it as a sign to slow down and take it all in too. As I gently stepped between the trees in silence, I paid attention to the many shapes and colours of nature, much like someone on a mushroom or LSD trip might, except here, all I needed was my own presence. When you really take the time to slow down and listen and look, you notice incredibly shaped trees that you never would have before. Moss and vines interlacing between the branches, the fractal textures of bark, dancing shadows and splashes of light from sun rays reaching through the canopy. Even the way the overall hue and saturation of the scene changes as the thicker canopy looms overhead or the sun momentarily hides behind a passing cloud. And sure, I could hear thoughts about how I should invite friends and family to spend time here together, mindfully walking, meditating, perhaps even gathering around a fire pit and jamming musical instruments and singing as the sun goes down. But I kept drawing my attention back to the sound of the forest. Singing birds, animals rustling in the bushes, and creaking branches swaying in the wind. At one point, I came across a squirrel who suddenly froze as he realized he was perched on a log only a meter in front of me. I froze solid too, and we locked eye contact for a moment. I thought my constant eye lock might come across to the squirrel as threatening, but my stillness instead seemed to make him curious as he unfroze to approach me even closer, almost as if to say hello for a minute before darting off to find food. And I really feel that the squirrel and I had a connection in that moment. At another point, I came across a fire pit made of large stones and a makeshift bench knocked together from branches and logs. I sat on the bench and began some deep breathing exercises, much like the Wim Hof method. I'm not sure if this was breaking the rules of the dopamine detox, but I felt compelled to do it on an empty stomach, leaving plenty of space for my lungs to fully inhale, squeezing the PC muscles, the abs, the chest, imagining pulling that energy up to the top of the head, holding for a few seconds, letting go, holding the breath, experiencing the combined effects of the technique and the stillness of the forest. It was sublime. It was euphoric. After a few rounds, I decided to take a slow and mindful journey back to the car, and on the way back home, stop at a little Whole Foods shop to pick up some stomach-calming herbal teas, as it was really starting to grumble. It was an interesting experience walking past all the delicious food and to feel that automatic salivation as I chose to deny myself of every single bite. 11 p.m. The evening has been a lot less eventful than I expected. I thought I might do some cleaning and tidying in silence, seeing as I think that's within the rules, but I've ended up spending most of it laying on the sofa, drifting in and out of slumber or sitting there, sipping on herbal teas and looking around the room. Initially, as the sun was going down and I refrained from playing music as I normally would do on a day off, it seemed a bit somber and dark in the silence, but now it's pitch black outside and I've lit a few candles. There's a calming stillness in the air. It's been quite a curious but nice thing to spend an entire day without ever staring at a screen. I'm not sure if I've experienced a dopamine detox or just an extremely slow and relaxing mindful day, although by now I am very hungry. I am periodically experiencing impulses to send messages and talk to people and play some music or watch a video, but seeing as it's only for a day, it's not that hard to keep on turning it down. I think if it was a bit longer, a deeper desire to re-indulge in modern technology would surface, but I'll definitely do it again, although it's not the first time I've purposefully had a slow and mindful day full of nature, meditation and contemplation, so I'm kind of used to this. It's certainly been revealing to cut it all out entirely, screens, music and videos included. Will I have reset my dopamine system and emerge an even more super motivated person? Well, I guess only time will tell. And time has told me that personally it was a great experience. Would I do it again? Absolutely. And would I recommend it to other people? Yes, I would, especially if you're the kind of person who's completely absorbed in perpetual instant gratification. Look, whether the science is sound and it really does reset your brain, or whether it's based on a misunderstanding and it's just simply a way to de-stress and become mindful, it's very helpful to take a break from these compulsive habits, if only to prove to yourself that you can do it, that you aren't controlled by these things, and to slow down and remember what's important, to reflect on your life and realize all this instant gratification could be holding you back from taking the consistent action you need to create your dream life, to finally walk the high path and march towards a life of fulfillment and contribution, because this is what we work on in the Consciousness Revolution program, helping you to overcome any low confidence or low self-esteem that's holding you back from doing what you really want to do in your life, and to put an end to that creeping feeling of regret that you're not taking enough action on the things that really mean the most to you. So if you finally want to overcome this, then this is the program for you. If you're done with living a mediocre life of the same shit day in, day out, and want to build something that positively contributes to the world, this program is for you too. Or if you're a conscious entrepreneur that has had some momentum but has ran into blocks and wants help with taking things to the next level, then this program is for you also. So head over to speaktoalex.com and book a time for us to chat about solving your problems. But with that being said, if you liked this video, of course, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any new videos helping you with conscious personal growth.